Glad you're here with us on a Monday here on the Market Day Report, both on RFDTV and Rural Radio, channel 147 on Sirius XM. Our futures are provided by Bar Chart, and these are live and instant quotes from the trade. March corn down 2 3/4, 417 3/4. We're off of the low of 415 1/4, by the way. May is down 3 and July down 3.5 cents. Over in the soybean market here today, the March is down 10 1/2 at 1154 1/2. Got as low as make that 1151 1/4. The May is down 10 1/2, and the July is down at least 10 cents. Over in the wheat market, March Chicago down 4 3/4. Right now, we're trading at 570. Kansas City wheat on the March down 5 1/4 at 537 1/2. March Minneapolis wheat down 4 1/4 at 546 1/4. And March cotton started out pretty quiet on the lower side, but now 13 points higher at 71.70. Back over here to the corn market. Let's get started here with analysis with Chris Swift with Swift Trading. Chris, this old corn market went down and kind of took a little bit of a dip, but it is firm just a little bit. Is that encouraging?
It is. You know, we noted that corn had been in really good demand for several weeks there and then tapered off a little bit, and now everybody's more concerned with the weather, and especially South American weather, where they're getting a corn and a soybean crop in. So changes in that weather over the weekend tend to be a little bit negative towards the market, but those rains have not fallen yet, so they were just forecasting. So it'll be interesting to see how much of the rain they get that is forecasted.
Chris, what do you make of this overall grain trade going into this week's World Supply and Demand estimates? We all know that this isn't the big report that usually comes out in January, but what about this one?
Well, we had so much of the grain harvested by the time the October report came out. I'm going to have a hard time seeing where they'll make big adjustments. I think they'll make minor adjustments to it. But again, with the majority of the grain already harvested before the last report that came out, I find it hard for them to make some kind of major adjustment just yet.
Is there anything technical to take away from these grain markets?
You know, the stagnation in the corn market. The corn market rallied $1 and has just sat here. We're only 20 cents off of the high that we made last week, and not really going down in leaps and bounds, and no real reason to that I know of. We are under the impression that with Chinese hog production continuing to ramp up, they're going to need a clean feed source, and right now the U.S. is the one for that clean feed source.
You feel the same way about soybeans then?
I do, absolutely. Soybean meal should perform very well. And if you notice, even the oil market has continued to stay up at the very top of it. Beans, sold off a little bit here, but both the products, oil and meal, continue to be right up at the top.
Okay, well, now let's change gears here for just a moment and talk about wheat. Meteorologist Tim Ross just showed us maybe another chance of some precipitation in the high plains.
Yeah, and that will help some. But I tell you, right now, when I look at the Palmer Drought Index, it's going to take a tremendous amount of moisture in a wide area to really help this wheat market out. And from what I understand from the graze-out wheats and stuff, there's just not near as much of it this year as there has been in years past.
And I can quantify that statement by some of the things I've seen when I've been back home in western Kansas. Stay with us, Chris. We need to come back and talk about this livestock trade next. So we're going to do that. You stay with us also here on the Market Day Report. We're having a conversation with Chris Swift, Swift Trading. He's deep into the cattle market also, and as well as the hog market. So let's bring you up to date on the futures of those markets. First of all, let's stop over here in the February live cattle. We are down 67 at 111.72. April down 47 at 115.70. For reference for cash, since we've got the show list out there today, 108.35 is where we're trading on the December. That's down 52, but today's first notice day. On to the feeder cattle market, and feeders can be leaders, but they're leading to the downside. March down 127 at 138.15. April down 125. The May is down over $1.22 to be exact. December hogs are down 57. February hogs, now February's got more activity to it. It's down 135 at 65.22, but April down 107. And the May is down 97. Those contracts are more representative of where this market is headed here today. Show list today. Have you heard much about it, Chris?
No, I think it's going to be fairly heavy, though. We've seen a lot of inventory, and last week we didn't get as many animals traded as we thought we did because the price wasn't near as good. So we saw the price back up and trade even at 110 with previous week, and I just don't think that there's going to be much change in livestock production over the next several weeks.
Now, Chris, you and I were talking there during the break about how some of these cattle are starting to get pretty heavy. Would you expand on that just a little bit here and how that fits into the market that we're seeing with the beef cutouts tumbling a little bit and some of these restaurants and things getting closed down again?
Sure. Some of the what we have seen over the past 3-4 months is the weather has been really exceptionally well for weight gains. So we didn't see a lot of the weight gains that we had contracted over the summertime where we held animals back. We'd been up 25 to 28 pounds additional carcass weight. We've not seen that go down. And then now newer cattle that are being placed seem to have a faster finish rate as well. And so they're starting to just easily barely pull on some of that first quarter inventory. They're going to start pulling it forward just a little bit early.
What does that spell for us down the road, you think?
Well, with a combination of probably a lower herd size and increased packing capacity, if that consumer were to have the reins turned loose on them and get the restaurant business back open again, get the hospitality industry back open again, I can imagine that just that amount of bid going after beef right there would be very beneficial to the cattle market.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for the update. Janet, there is the latest from the market desk, ma'am. Back to you.
All right.